Hello, Kevin. So I'm going to present using my PowerPoint, but I'll also attach it to the email so you can look at it closer. So the organization that I chose to research is called Navdanya, and it was founded in 1987 by Dr. Vandana Shiva, who is a world famous environmentalist, feminist, activist, physicist. And she began this program as a program originally off of her Research Foundation for Science, Technology, and Ecology, which she had founded previously in the 1980s. So it was originally started as a program off of that organization, and then sort of began to take on more of its own as it grew. So it was founded as a response to the year of Punjab violence in 1984 in the Indian state of Punjab. There was a lot of ethnic and cultural conflict and violence. And there was also the Bhopal tragedy, in which at a pesticide plant there was a leak of an insecticide and it exposed over 500,000 people. So this was a really devastating tragedy, and it was also partially as a response to the increasing threat of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and seed patents that were starting to encroach upon India. So Navdanya, the word means 9 seeds, and this concept represents India's collective food security. So each seed is thought to have its own cosmic sort of influence, and also sometimes an influence within bodily systems. So for example, the mung seed has an influence from the planet Mercury, and it also has an influence on intelligence. So Navdanya, their mission is to protect nature and people's rights to knowledge, biodiversity, water, and food. So they believe that everyone has the right to live, grow, evolve to their full potential. And they see this as really important in their mission, really considering then the conservation of biodiverse environments as a fundamental human duty. So Dr. Shiva says, saving seed is our duty, saving seed is our culture. And I think that quote really speaks to the organization's vision and their mission. So as an organization, Navdanya has a few different sort of programs that they focus on, and I'll go into them each in depth, but they're the Earth University, Diverse Women for Diversity, and different movements within the concept of Earth democracy. But underlying all of these, they are a network of seed savers, and they have more than 70,000 farmers who are members of this network. So the first piece of their program I'm going to talk about is the Earth University. The name in Sanskrit means Seed Learning Center, and this was started in 2001. So they offer international courses here, and you can also intern, you can volunteer, and you can visit for certain periods of time. On this 8 acres of agrobiodiversity conservation ecological farm, they produce 600 varieties of different plants, 250 types of rice, 30 types of wheat. So it is an active farm, and they're actively working to practice sustainable activities and things like that on the farm. Some of the farmers who are in their network live and work on site. And they have staff on the farm who are experts and specialists, like this woman. Her name is Biha. It also means seed, and she is a seed saving specialist. She does that and has that knowledge, and she's been with the farm and at the university since it began. So everyone who comes to the university, whether they're interns for classes or volunteers or visiting, everyone participates in sustainable practices together, such as farming, composting, yoga, cooking, and things like that. So the next one I'm going to talk about is this concept of Earth democracy, and it has 3 pillars, namely living democracy, living economics, and living cultures. So within this idea, they promote seed, food, land, and water sovereignty, and the main one I'm going to focus on is seed sovereignty, because that's mostly what their biggest focus within this is. So the organization has been a pioneer of seed saving within India and globally. They've set up 54 seed banks across 16 states within India. And at these seed banks, they have saved over 5,000 crop varieties, 3,000 types of rice, 95 types of wheat, and other grains and medicinal plants. So here is a map of all the different places they've set up seed banks within India. And here's a picture of their seed bank that they have on site at their farm on the Earth University. So within these seed banks, here's a quote by Shiva again, saying, "Seeds must be in the hands of farmers." So what these seed banks do is they collect and save different varieties of seeds, and then they lend those seeds to farmers who, after their crops have a good harvest, return a certain amount of that seed back to the seed bank to be used by other farmers. So it's just a really good way to build within small communities to help farmers sort of bolster against the vulnerability of other seed sort of markets such as Monsanto. So it helps them get out of that vulnerable position, which oftentimes leads to increasing amounts of debt, which has caused numerous farmer suicides in India. So these idea of seed banks, it works to kind of counter that type of market ideology and to make stronger community ties with really that allow farmers to protect their own seed and protect themselves. So they also have different stores around India, in Mumbai and Delhi and a few other places, where they sell the produce that a lot of their member farmers yield. So at these organic stores, the farmers are paid 10% more than they would be at market, traditional market prices. So it helps the farmers actually make a living in the beginning, and it helps sort of spread the word about organic food, which in India isn't something that's really like widely accepted yet. So the other program I mentioned that they focus on is called Diverse Women for Diversity, and this was started in the mid-1990s. Shiva was one of the co-founders, and it's an international movement that is woman-led, and it's basically trying to promote nonviolent resistance to globalization. So they organize groups to honor and strengthen the tradition of women producing their own food and providing food security and sovereignty for their families. So they're really trying to sort of reconnect women with that traditional and meaningful role within a community of being the seed providers and the seed savers. So I just really like this crazy photo of a guy with seeds. It was at one of their courses at the Earth University. And I think that this NGO is really working to address the effects that globalization has had, especially on the agricultural systems of many different countries. I really like that it allows farmers and communities to sort of exit out of the vulnerable system that a globalized seed market has put them in. And I think it generally decreases the dependency that a lot of again, this globalized system has put upon them. So I think it gives people, especially farmers, agency and control over their own seeds, over their own land. As an organization, they also have various campaigns, one of which is specifically working to fight against GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and also against seed patents. And as a firm believer, am sort of an anti-GMO movement, I think that this organization and Shiva's work all over the world has shown that it is possible to exit out of the system that Monsanto might place you in, and I think it is possible, shown by their efforts, to create a better agricultural and food system without those influences. So that's why I think that this NGO is really doing good work. Now, if I were presenting in class, I would have asked for some questions to further stimulate information, but I just thought of some ones that might be asked. So how are they funded? And I think that's a really good question, and I looked up a lot of information about it. They're mostly funded through grants, different grants from organizations like the Small Planet Fund, the Flora Family Foundation, different things like that provide them grants, and they also accept donations online with various, on their websites and with various campaigns, sort of like Kickstarter campaigns online. Other questions I thought might be asked are, how many people do they reach? So like I said, they have a network of 70,000 farmer members, and they also have trained over 500,000 farmers in the practices of organic agriculture. So again, they're trying to spread that through their network also. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. All of the photos were from any of the publications that Navdanya does, Shiva's blog, their website, or their blog. And I have, on the last slide, a link to a video, and I hope that, Kevin, you can go watch it. It's just a short video that Shiva is talking about, and thanks for listening. Mariah, your computer locked me out. I don't know if the video's still going, but I finished. Okay. Thanks, Kevin.
It is still going.
Mariah's computer locked me out.